Good day, friends, and welcome back to Conflicts of the Human Race. Today, I will tell you about the entire story of the American Revolutionary War, 1775–1783. Now buckle up as we begin. In the tense years before 1775, British policies like the Stamp Act and Tea Act ignited fury in the 13 colonies. Colonists, weary of taxation without representation, protested fiercely. The Boston Massacre of 1770 saw British soldiers fire on a mob, killing 5, fueling propaganda. Then, on December 16, 1773, the Sons of Liberty, disguised as Mohawk Indians, boarded British ships in Boston Harbor and dumped 342 chests of tea into the sea, the Boston Tea Party. This act of defiance prompted harsh British retaliation with the Intolerable Acts, closing Boston port and quartering troops. Colonial leaders convened the First Continental Congress, forging unity. Militias formed, stockpiling arms. As General Thomas Gage in Boston plotted to seize colonial munitions, riders like Paul Revere prepared to warn the countryside. Dawn of April 19, 1775 approached, heavy with the promise of bloodshed. Minutemen mustered, determined to resist tyranny. The stage was set for revolution. April 19, 1775, Lexington Green at dawn. British Major John Pitcairn's 700 redcoats marched from Boston to confiscate rebel arms at Concord. Paul Revere, William Dawes, and Samuel Prescott rode through the night, shouting, "The British are coming." Captain John Parker assembled 77 Minutemen on the green. "Stand your ground, don't fire unless fired upon," he ordered. As redcoats advanced, a shot rang out, the shot heard round the world. Chaos erupted. Muskets cracked, smoke billowed. 8 Americans fell dead, 10 wounded, 1 redcoat injured. The British reformed and pushed to Concord, but Minutemen shadowed them. At North Bridge, colonial forces under Major John Buttrick charged, killing 3 British. Retreating redcoats faced relentless harassment from behind walls and trees, guerrilla tactics born of necessity. By day's end, 273 British casualties versus 93 American. This first clash proved colonists would fight. News spread like wildfire, galvanizing support. The revolution had begun in earnest, with militias swelling ranks. Washington in Virginia heard and prepared to lead. The British pressed on to Concord, searching barns and homes fruitlessly. At Old North Bridge, 400 Minutemen confronted 100 redcoats guarding the span. Hearing British fire, Buttrick yelled, "Fire, fellow soldiers, for God's sake, fire!" Colonials unleashed volleys from cover, felling 3 enemies. Redcoats retreated across the bridge, burning what they could. As they withdrew toward Boston, every hill, wall, and tree hid American marksmen. Percy's relief force joined, but snipers picked them off. Exhausted, bloodied, the British staggered into Charlestown under cover of naval guns. The day's toll: 73 dead, 174 wounded, 53 missing for Britain, 49 dead, 41 wounded for America. This victory emboldened the colonies. Militias besieged Boston, trapping Gage's 10,000 troops. The Second Continental Congress formed the Continental Army, appointing George Washington commander. The war machine ground forward, from skirmish to continental struggle. By June 1775, 15,000 colonial troops encircled Boston. Gage sought to fortify Bunker Hill in Charlestown, but under darkness, 1,200 Americans under Israel Putnam and William Prescott seized Breed's Hill instead, closer to Boston. By dawn, redcoats spotted the entrenchments. General Howe led 22-0 assault troops across water. Americans held fire until redcoats crested, then poured deadly volleys. 2 assaults repulsed with horrific losses. On the 3rd, low on powder, colonists fixed bayonets but withdrew. Bunker Hill cost Britain 1,054 casualties to America's 450, a Pyrrhic victory proving colonials could stand. Morale soared. Washington arrived July 2, taking command of a ragtag army. He fortified Dorchester Heights with cannons from Ticonderoga, captured by Allen and Arnold. Facing eviction, Howe evacuated Boston March 17, 1776, sailing for Halifax. First major American success. Washington eyed Canada. Benedict Arnold and Richard Montgomery invaded. Montgomery captured Montreal November 1775. Arnold's grueling march through Maine wilderness reached Quebec December 31. In blizzard, they stormed the city. Montgomery killed, Arnold wounded. Americans besieged, but disease and reinforcements forced retreat by May 1776. Failure but showed ambition. Meanwhile, common sense by Payne rallied support. July 4, 1776, Declaration of Independence proclaimed in Philadelphia. Read to troops its steeled hearts. Britain shifted to New York. Howe's 32,000 landed Long Island August. Washington's 19,000 defeated at Battle of Long Island. Miraculous retreat to Manhattan under Glover's fishermen. But New York fell September. Washington retreated northward. Washington's army dwindled to 3,000 crossing icy Delaware, December 25, 1776. Hessians in Trenton under Rawle reveled post-Christmas. At dawn December 26, 24-0 Americans surprised them. No escape, 900 surrendered. 0 American losses. Boosted enlistments. January 2, 1777, Princeton. Washington dashed through British lines in audacious charge, routing 2 regiments. Cornwallis pursued but bogged. Victories revived cause when Congress wavered. Howe took Philadelphia September 1777, defeating Washington at Brandywine, Paoli. But Burgoyne's Northern Army marched south from Canada. Americans under Gates blocked at Bimy's Heights. Saratoga Campaign, turning point. Burgoyne's 7,000 regulars, Brunswickers, Indians lumbered through forests. St. Clair abandoned Ticonderoga July 1777. Benedict Arnold urged attack at Freeman's Farm September 19. Bloody draw. October 7, Bimy's Heights. Arnold led counterattack, shattering British. Burgoyne retreated to Saratoga, surrounded. October 17, Convention Army 59-0 surrendered. French alliance secured. Ships, troops, loans. Washington endured Valley Forge Winter 1777-78. 25-0 froze or starved under von Steuben's drill. Emerged disciplined. Spring 1778, von Steuben transformed rabble into pros. June, Monmouth. Washington pursued Lee's botched stand against Clinton, replacing Howe. Sweltering heat, 97F, soldiers collapsed. Washington relieved Lee-led rally. Draw, but proved equality. French fleet under D'Estaing menaced Newport, failed. Spain joined. Privateers harried British trade. War globalized. 1779, Sullivan raised Iroquois villages for raids. South, Prevost took Savannah. 1780, Benedict Arnold's treason at West Point foiled. Charleston fell to Clinton May, 54-0 captured, worst American defeat. Southern campaign intensified. Ferguson's Tories routed at Kings Mountain, October 1780 by backcountry riflemen, Overkill massacre. Gates crushed at Camden, August. Greene appointed South. Morgan smashed Tarleton at Cowpens, January 1781, double envelopment genius. Savior of the South. Rawdon evacuated Camden. Greene marched to Guilford Courthouse, March. Fierce fight, British victory, cost 25%, retreated. Partisan leaders like Sumter, Pickens harried. Cornwallis, victorious but bled, marched to Virginia, seeking decision. Cornwallis fortified Yorktown, Virginia, awaiting Clinton. Washington and Rochambeau marched 7,000 south. French fleet under de Grasse bested Grave September 5, sealing Chesapeake. 16,000 allies encircled 8,000 British October 1781. Parallel trenches advanced under cannonade. Redoubts 9 and 10 stormed October 14. French scalped ladders, Americans bayonets. Cornwallis requested terms October 17. Graceful surrender October 19. Bands played, world turned upside down. 7,000 prisoners. Yorktown's fall shocked London. North Ministry collapsed. Peace talks Paris 1782. Preliminary treaty November 1782. Final September 1783. Britain recognized independence. Mississippi to Georgia borders. Washington disbanded army December 1783. Farewell orders. Emotional scene at Fraunces Tavern. Newburgh conspiracy averted. Constitution followed 1787. Revolution birthed democracy. The war wasn't just battles. Women like Molly Pitcher manned cannons. Slaves fought for freedom promises. Native allies like Brant ravaged frontiers. Loyalists fled or fought. Economy strained. Continentals worthless. Yet spirit endured. From farmers to forge world power. Saratoga delegates convinced France. Lafayette bridged cultures. Kosciuszko fortified. Wayne stormed Stony Point. Light Horse Harry Lee raided. Every act built legend. Naval war, Jones Bonhomme Richard rammed Serapis 1779. I have not yet begun to fight. Victory. De Grasse decisive. Privateers captured 600 prizes. Frontier war, Clark captured Vincennes 1779 flooding. Iroquois Civil War, devastation mutual. Allies, French 12,000 at Yorktown. Spanish took Pensacola. Dutch supplied. Global versus empire. Finance, Morris coined money, loans from France, yet inflation rampant. Soldiers mutinied 1781 pardoned. Espionage, Culper ring spied NYC. Washington's code breakers. Legacy, inspired France, Haiti, Latin America. First anti-colonial win. Democracy model. The American Revolutionary War ended not with a bang, but a negotiated peace that reshaped maps and minds. From humble beginnings at Lexington to glory at Yorktown, ordinary men and women forged a nation on liberty's anvil. Patriots sacrificed all, tyrants humbled. The United States rose, beacon to oppressed. If you liked today's story, make sure to check out our other videos on our channel. Have a nice day.